How can your business combine online and offline marketing channels?
Let's talk about that.
Right, Darren, here we are back in the Talk studio, you and me.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time.
This has been a little while.
And me. We've been talking with other people.
We have.
Yeah,
so it's
but we're back
in the good old days. How it was.
Together.
Back how it was. Yeah, exactly that. You well? You good?
Yeah. Oh, really good.
I say that as if I don't work with you every day.
Well, yeah.
I'm very mindful that our Talk viewers will wonder, how's Darren? How's he getting on?
I'm good. Very busy working on some very exciting ads and brand films.
What are you working on? Give us a little insight. I always like to share a little sort of flavour of what you're doing. In fact, tell everyone what you were doing a couple of days ago and then you showed me and I was like, wow.
Yes.
Because I've now seen those ads out in the wild and they're amazing.
I was working on a very innovative technique, which is sometimes we have brands where they have lots of images but they don't have any video.
Yes.
And what we can do with that for the most part is create sort of like video carousels, and we can maybe zoom in if they're higher enough resolution and move across the image.
Yep.
But there's not too much we can do. So I basically used a software to use AI to turn the image into a video. And it would have like the image and then it would start panning back and it would essentially be expanding it, and it would be doing all different sort of depth values. And it would be animating it as well. So say for example, if there was a fire in the image,
which there was,
it would start moving like a fire, and there was a tree in one and it would start swaying in the breeze, and honestly,
I'm telling you now, I would never have known that was a still image, and I don't care, no one would have known that was not a series of, what was it, 3 or 4 images that you've now turned into a 15-20 second video.
It's
amazing.
It blew
so
my
good.
mind.
It's incredible. I mean, in fact, can we get Archie to put a little overlay?
Yeah, let's do
there
it.
You go. Archie, make a note in the edit to put a little thing over it so you can see it, because it is very, very cool. So yeah, I saw that, and I've actually I WhatsApped you the other night.
You did,
because I'd actually seen it out in the wild. And I was like, this is
It's
amazing. It got lots of
really
engagement.
Nice to see them in the wild.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yes.
Back to what you were saying.
Yes. Yeah. Come on.
How do you combine your digital and your online and offline marketing?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
The short answer is you have an omni-channel marketing strategy.
Right.
Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it?
What does that mean?
Well, now I'll have to share with you the long answer. But an omni-channel marketing strategy, I put this in an email very recently, but essentially it just means a strategy that thinks about multiple touch points. So not just a specific channel or not just this, but actually omni-channel means you're everywhere. You know, you're on all channels.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, so not reliant, something we advocate all the time is not being reliant on a single, I just do Google Ads, or I just do offline marketing, or we just go in the paper.
Variety is the spice of life.
Well, quite, you said it. So yeah, and the reason we want to talk about this one today is because we are fresh off the back of having done this incredibly well for one of our newer clients. And this, if you follow us, if you see the podcast and Uncut, and you'll be able to piece all of this together. But this is the first Talk we've spoken about it. And this is essentially one of our new clients, who I can name, I can share, because it's how, everyone knows. They're called Casa. These guys are a furniture brand, as many of our clients are. And we started working with them at the beginning of this year, 2025. So we're only, 3 months in. And on our first meeting, week 1, start of January, we went down, we saw them, we had a chat to them, onboarding meeting, getting everything up to speed, what we're going to do. And of course, our brief, as ever, is paid search, paid social, creative, etc. We, during that first meeting, had a conversation about, and sort of were addressing their business pain points. What can we do? How can we support? And one of the things came to light was, we're sitting on a lot of clearance stock.
Even more than they actually realised.
Even more than they realised. So we're sitting on a lot of clearance stock. So we hatched the idea, and this again, if you watch Uncut, in fact, we must include the link to that Uncut, because we documented it on Uncut. But we basically said in that meeting, why don't you put on a clearance event? And the client was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But what we said to them at the time, straight from that, we said, if we're going to do this, the way to get the best, bang for your buck, the way to have the biggest impact is going to be essentially an omni-channel approach, where we're going to do both online and offline. And whether or not, it doesn't have to be a clearance event, but for businesses, for those watching this, thinking, what's the one way I can be, get extra money in the till, I can have a real success, I can really make an impact. That combination of thinking about what can you do online and what can you do offline, but how can you bring the two together to work in harmony, is beautiful.
So I know what you can do online.
Yes.
I know all about paid search, paid social, especially creative.
Yeah.
But what can I do offline?
Yeah, I mean, so what we did with Casa and what they did, and again, our remit, our expertise, as you say, is online. And so you might think, well, we only think about online. And for the most part, that is our lane, we stay in it and we're thinking about it, and that's what we're experts at. But we're always advocating businesses to go, well, don't just rely on that. Don't just rely on what we're doing, but actually what else could and should you be doing?
Yeah.
So what things that, what Casa did, leaflets.
Yes.
Love a leaflet.
Great.
So getting leaflets. So we delivered, well, I say we, the collective, and they used Royal Mail, and there's loads of different ways to approach this. But collectively, this campaign, in the space of a month, dropped about 30 to 40,000 leaflets in the local area.
Yeah.
You can be in the local papers. All this offline stuff. Beautiful, just so good. And for so many of our businesses, whether they're e-commerce, which is what Casa are, or whether they're, if you're a local business, then you sell a product or a service, but you operate within a set area. Local advertising, God, it's so good.
I think what's really interesting about that as well is that people often forget just how many people there are locally.
Yeah, they always... That is such a good point, because Casa is a great example of a business. They're e-commerce. They operate across the UK. They sell their products. These they're an amazing business. They sell it.
I believe the brand film was from Wiltshire to Scotland.
There you go. Right. So they do. But what they hadn't leveraged and they just almost written off was this local. And we said, well, as we drove in and we saw them, we were like, you've got thousands of chimney pots around you here. Do they know? Do they know you're there? And
when we were there, we walked from their showroom into town to get some lunch. Yeah. So we know it's a walkable distance right from the centre of their town.
And there'll be so many we've been seeing clients this week, last week, in terms of prospects and clients that are all local around here. Yeah. And we say to them, where we are, there are towns, there's tens of thousands of houses all around within a 10, 15, 20-minute drive. So if you're running a business and you've got chimney pots around you and you've got, population, then think, how can I leverage that? It doesn't matter if your business we sell nationally, we sell internationally, great, but your home patch, people are going to love that, particularly if you've got a showroom, you've got a studio, you've got a shop where people can physically come. Yes, they can buy online, but they can come to you as well, which was the case for Casa. And so we said, let's combine all of the above. Let's absolutely leave with us the digital channels. We can run some localized Google campaigns. We can run some localized Meta campaigns. We can leverage those online channels with great creative, and we can showcase what we're going to, in this case it was a special event, but it could be anything, a certain product, a certain
we
category.
Actually did 2 sets of ads.
Yes, we did.
We did what we call our always on ads, which is the more general brand sort of stuff. And then we did a special set of clearance event ads as well.
And we ran those ads, so Matt and Lou set those ads up to be locally. So they were all local to the specific area. So like a 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius, 30-mile, whatever it is, because we know that, people will drive. Because Casa is an online, e-commerce business, but they've got a physical showroom, which is an amazing setup, but they just weren't leveraging it.
I can't remember if I told you or not. Archie mentioned that his friend went.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Genuinely.
Yeah, genuinely. He went down.
Well, so did everyone. Amazing. So we had this idea and we said, right, we're going to leverage both. And the thing I want everyone to watch is to take away is to just think about what could I do both online and offline. Because that marriage for so many businesses, e-com or lead generation, physical store or not, that marriage works so well together. If you could get people physically to your premises, your showroom, as well as seeing you online and then vice versa, so powerful. And so we did leaflets, we did, they were in the papers, they were on the local Facebook groups, like their team were going, we're running an event next week, They were doing local stuff like that.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode, we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing, and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
We had them put up whacking great signage outside the front, because we said how many people are driving past, don't even know you're there, or would they want a reminder?
They should keep that up all the time.
They should definitely keep it. But we had them. We said to them, you need to go and get signed with banners up above the door. You know, big things on like big. I don't even know what they call it, A-frame type things that sit by the road, which are like static.
Sure.
We had those, you know, framed boards produced. Blue Arch. That's on my. It's literally on my notes. It's like Blue Arch.
We should put a picture, Archie. Put the picture of me and Aaron with the Blue Arch right here.
It was so good. And we actually built that thing.
We did.
We went down there. So the event
we
was
went to see them
the
on
event
the
was
day.
at the end of February, and it was a 3-day event.
Yeah.
And we said we'll come down on the Friday just to help get set up, check everything's all right, and just sort of lend a hand. And we went down, and it was all action stage. We went in, it was just chaos. Everyone's running around doing everything.
First thing we noticed.
Yeah, no Blue Arch. So I was like, where's the Blue Arch? Went out into their warehouse, and it was like a third bill, and I was like, I'm not having that. I was like, so it was sleeves rolled up, and we've got it front cut.
I was blowing up balloons, you were assembling.
It's great. I've found my vocation. If ever the paid media and marketing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a balloon connoisseur. But yeah, so we created the Blue Arch, put that out the front, and then basically it ended up just being a really good event. They ran it for 3 days, and they had a stellar, and I've got an email from the client, which I'm going to show with you in a minute. That combination of thinking about, not just because would this event, or whether it's an event, or would this, campaign have been as successful if we hadn't of done, the online or the offline. So if you've just done one, so if you've just gone, well, this is going to be an online event, and we're just going to, it's an e-commerce, and we're just purely going to do that, I think it would have worked. I don't think it would have half as well.
No.
And that's coming from someone who's
I wouldn't have left with a chair, that's for sure. Because that's what
you
ended up
literally
happening.
did, yeah. But that, and I think that's it, because, what we advocate and champion all the time is, paid media is amazingly powerful, but do it in conjunction with other things. Look at what else you're doing, and that combination. Particularly, if you are running a campaign or an event, and you can put the big things that worked for this one, as well as the channels, was the fact that we could put a specific date on it. So we could say it's happening at this time and this date. We could also put a location. You could buy online or in store. So that combination, I can do it in person or I can do it online. Great, works. The fact that it was time sensitive, the fact that there was special offers that were only going to be available between this time and this time and this period, all of these little marketing sort of little hacks and little tricks and bits and pieces means that you're building anticipation. We then ran campaigns, which was essentially doing a countdown online, going, oh, it's coming up, it's next week, it's now only 3 days to go. So we were running all of these ads and sequences to drive that awareness and that sort of that anticipation. And then ultimately, you come to the event, and then if you were to go on their website during that period, or go in their store, or drive by, or live in the local area, you were seeing and hearing about the thing. And then, of course, we had a retargeting campaign. So if you were in their vicinity, and we ran both ads locally, but for the e-commerce side, nationally, in their world, it meant we massively increased their visibility in the weeks leading up to that event, which has resulted in loads more email subscribers, customers, people that have signed up to get discounts and now know of them and will be repeat buy and so on. Loads more people that have been in their stores that now go, didn't know you were here, but now know you're there. And it's ended up being, a beautiful thing. And so the client, I'm gonna read an email. I'm reading an email because we got a lovely email on Monday, and this will just show that for any business thinking about, or just there'll be so many businesses, I guarantee, watching this thinking, oh, we're so reliant on our Google ads or our Meta ads, or we don't do it. And it's like, just think about could you combine that online and offline? Because if you can do that, it's really powerful. And so I got an email from the client on Monday, which I've actually shared this just recently on Tea Break. So if you're not subscribed to Tea Break, I shared this.
Great time to do so.
It really is. You can sign up on our website, go to theevergreenagency.co.uk. On the menu on the top right, you click on there for newsletter. You can sign up there. And every Thursday at 11 a.m, I send a personal insights and paid media ideas. And I give you a bit of a behind the scenes from this is what we're doing. And in this case, this week, it was very much like, this is what we've just done. We've just come off of it. It's just worked. And so the email that I had said, I'll just read it to you. It said, morning, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Just to let you know that the weekend was a roaring success.
Nice.
Both online and both in-store and online. They're going to be looking at all the numbers, blah, 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 blah. But she said we had a very impressive boost online across all 3 days. The shop was heaving all of Saturday, and Friday and Saturday were pleasantly nice and busy as well. And we saw a massive improvement on the footfall that we're currently used to in the showroom. They're doing a debrief to their team, blah, 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 blah. And they essentially now want to kind of go, right, how can we rip and repeat this? I think they do a clearance event every week, and we're going to go, no, you can't do that. You need to,
We're not DFS.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, but and she said, like, it's proved, this whole event proved very, very fruitful. So I just wanted to let you know and thank you all for your help with this. It was absolutely worth the effort that went into it, and we couldn't have done it without your support and great ideas. And I love that.
What more could you want?
Well, it's a great sort of testimonial for us, but more important than that, for me, it's shown, obviously, it's reminded us, but it's also a good sort of prompt for us to make as a T-Talk to just say that power of online and offline, very, very effective, because you can, with the online channels, you can get in front of people. If from a Google search perspective, if they're actively looking and if they're in your area, and they're looking and this is what we do and this is where we sell and we're here. And then from a like Meta and Google as well, from a retargeting, you can get your core messages. So, we're running this event, we're doing this promotion, we're having this, we're doing that, and we're doing it on this day. So we had all of this data, all of this rich online data from emails and customers and people that have been on our socials and engaged with this customer, with this client. We could then say, hey, we know you know of us, we know you bought from us, we know you engaged with us, and now we want to let you know that we're doing this thing on this day. So we're leveraging all those online channels, and then combining it with yes, you can buy online, but you can also come into the store. And then you're also, if you're in the local area, you're probably going to see us in the local paper. You're probably going to see us a leaflet through your door. Yeah. That marriage of all of those channels, it's just beautiful. I love it. And we've done this one, and we're doing several more for other clients where other sorts of events. Yeah. And we're talking to a couple of brands right now about, we can do your localized campaigns. I mean, we were with one of our clients just a couple of days ago doing like a local sort of networking thing. And it's that combination of, and how many people when we were at that event were saying, we see this client whose thing we went to support, but they were like, we've seen their stuff, we see their online stuff, and that's made, and they were walking around the showroom and they were like, I recognize all this from the creative, from the content, and it just brings it to life. And I just think that that's, for so many of our small businesses, that is what paid media can do so incredibly well, is bring to life what it is you physically have there, pique people's interests, and then they go, actually, I want to go along and see that. I want to go to that show, I want to go to that store. It just works. It's beautiful.
It does.
It's absolutely beautiful. So there you go. So if you haven't yet, if you're solely reliant on your Google, your online stuff or your offline stuff, just think, how can you combine that too? Because I think that marriage, it can work, and it can be very omnichannel. Nice. Sounds a bit scary, but actually, break it down. It's just going, what can I do online? What can I do offline? How do I bring it together? Mwah, the magic happens. There you go. Right. We're back. We're back in the hot seat. We've sort of got back into the swing. I think we might have to. I think we're going to wrap this one here, and I think we might have to do another one, because I love this. I've missed this.
Oh, yeah, same.
There you go.
But if they wanted to see more of us, where could they find us?
Well, I've done enough talking. Where could they find us? Come on, you tell us.
If you've enjoyed this episode of T-Talks, we have tons more. Not just T-Talks either. We have Grow with Evergreen, which is our podcast where Aaron talks to a guest, a home garden and lifestyle brand, about their marketing challenges. Or we also have our Evergreen Uncut series. It's my personal favorite, because you get to come behind the scenes with us and see just exactly what we do day to day. And a little spoiler, it's pretty varied every single time. So go and check out those on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't done already, go and check us out on Spotify as well. And we also, both of us, post quite frequently on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we do. So make sure you give us a follow and a connection.
Yeah.
We love that.
Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time.
Yeah, we will. Take care.
Bye.